Good morning and welcome to our kitchen. I'm Gordy Galusha.
I'm Nancy Ostrich.
And today we're going to be making turkey cutlets with crispy cider cornbread dressing, okay? And we're going to have, don't laugh when I tell you this, I'm going to make a sawdust pie.
Okay.
And we're going to have cranberry and pear conserve.
Conserve.
Okay.
Yeah.
Get it right after a while. Okay, we're going to start off with Nancy.
Thank you. I think this is show number
259. Oh my goodness sakes.
Okay.
Well, we're getting there, aren't we?
Yeah. So, again, I am using my cookbook, Dishing Up Maine, and the recipes I'm going to do are both in this recipe book. And what I need to do first is brown lightly 4 turkey cutlets. I was hoping that they would all fit in here.
Squeeze them together. They'll fit.
Okay. And I want to season them. I have melted 2 tablespoons of butter, and I'm using butter this time, with some salt, and pepper. And a little, I'm just going to sprinkle on, it could be up to about a tablespoon of Bell's poultry seasoning. It's so fine that it's hard to get it evenly sprinkled. Okay, now we don't want to brown them too much or overcook them. So you want to take it on a lower heat. But I have a story about Bell's seasoning, which has been around for a long time. It was in the 1860s that Willie Bell from Boston, not from Maine, from Boston, dreamed up the concept of an all-purpose seasoning blend that could be used for everything from turkey stuffing to oysters. This was a man well ahead of his time, predating by more than a century the myriad seasoning blends now crowding our spice shelves. Willie convinced his mother, who was a good cook, to help him, and they experimented with herbs from the kitchen garden, coming up with the formula that became Bell's seasoning. So nice. Bell's seasoning's been around for a long time, and we still use it today. And Thanksgiving is coming up, so
you'll use it then.
we'll use it then. So while I'm browning these turkey cutlets, we'll turn it back over to Gordy.
This morning I'm going to make, don't think I'm nuts or anything like that, but I'm going to make a sawdust pie. It only has 4 ingredients, and I've got 7 egg whites. I got 1½ cups of coconut, 1½ cups of graham cracker, 1½ cups of pecans, and 1½ cups of sugar. That's all there is to this recipe. It's very easy. You mix it all up with a spoon, get everything all mixed up, and then you put it in a 9-inch pie crust. Whoops, kind of sloppy there a little bit. Okay. Make sure you get it all mixed up nicely. Okay, this looks pretty good. Okay, I'm going to put it in a 9-inch pan. Whew. This really fills up this pie shell.
Okay, you can see I've cooked gently or carefully, not overcooking, my 4 turkey cutlets, and I put them in a baking dish that can go under a broiler. Okay, I did not take the drippings out of the fry pan, and I added 2 more tablespoons of butter, because now I'm going to saute a good size rib of celery and a small onion chopped. Need to get soften this up, and then I will be adding 1 3/4 cups of cornbread stuffing mix and a cup of apple cider or apple juice. Be adding that to the cooked onion and celery. And if you have some fresh sage, I don't, a tablespoon, and then a teaspoon of the Bell's poultry seasoning. So, I decided, instead of using the sage, the fresh sage, which I don't have, I'm going to put in about a 1/2 tablespoon of dried parsley. so I'm making a substitution. I think with the poultry seasoning, again, it's enough sage. I should let this cook a little bit longer, but I'm going to continue on with the recipe. There's my 1 1/3 cups of stuffing, cornbread stuffing. And I need my cup of apple cider.
The apple cider was good this year. It was good. I could drink that whole bottle one sitting. I just love it.
And about a teaspoon of what I'm using, parsley. And a teaspoon of the poultry seasoning. I think that's enough. I'm going to say, as you decide whether you want to use a whole teaspoon. Now we stir this, and you want to don't let it dry out too much. It's still, we need to have it moist. I think I will add a little more salt and pepper. And I'm going to spoon this over the turkey cutlets.
Smells good.
Now, when our pie comes out, I will put this under the broiler and let it broil for 4 or 5 minutes. I want the stuffing to get crispy and golden. So when the pie comes out, then we will put the broiler on for. We will break for a minute or two while I set up to do the cranberry pear conserve. Okay, this is going to be the complement to the turkey cutlets. This is the season with turkey and cranberries. So this is going to be a mixture of 12 ounces, which is the normal bag of fresh cranberries, and I rinse them, drain them. And now I'm going to add a pear, a firm pear, but you want it to be pretty along, but not really soft. I peeled it, cored it, and chopped it, and I'm adding it to the cranberries. Already that looks pretty. It's not going to look like this when it's done. It's going to be all red.
It's going to be a pretty red.
And then I will add 3/4 of a cup of sugar. And something else interesting, 2/3 of a cup of either dry vermouth or white wine. And I'm going to bring it to a boil. And I got just enough. So keep stirring it up to dissolve the sugar, and bring it to a boil. Then lower the heat and simmer for 10 to 15 minutes while the cranberries pop. And we will break now and let that happen, and I will be back. Welcome back to our table. We are on show number 259, and we're taping this as it gets pretty close to November. And when we get close to November, we think of Thanksgiving. And I made 2 recipes today that look like you could use Thanksgiving, particularly if you've got a small family. Anyways, the main dish is turkey cutlets with a crispy cider cornbread dressing. And it was pretty easy to put together. You buy your turkey cutlets and brown them lightly on both sides and season with salt, pepper, and some poultry seasoning. And put them into a baking dish or a dish that you can put under the broiler. And in that same fry pan, I sauteed celery and onions, cooked them down some, and then I added almost 2 cups of a dry cornbread stuffing mix. And along with that, I had a cup of apple cider. You can use apple juice. Some fresh sage if you have it. I decided to substitute with parsley, dried parsley, and then 1 teaspoon of poultry seasoning. Stirred that in and cooked it for a little while. I didn't want it to get too dry. I placed it over the cutlets and put it under the broiler and to let it crisp up and cook some more. To go with it, I made whole cranberry conserve, they called it. And that was pretty easy too, just cooking down 1 12-ounce package of fresh cranberries and a pear that I peeled and diced, pear of your choosing, and a cup, 3/4 of a cup of sugar, and 2/3 of a cup of dry vermouth. So that was an interesting change. And cooked that down until the cranberries burst open. And something that didn't show earlier was when that was done, I keep crystallized ginger on hand, which are the little wafers with the ginger with the sugar on it. I cut up, chopped up very fine, about 2 tablespoons of the crystallized ginger and mix that in. And that will be, as you cool it down and put it in the refrigerator, it's going to thicken, will thicken up on its own. So for dessert, Gordy, what do we got?
For dessert, I made a sawdust pie. It's very easy to make. It only has 5 ingredients. First of all, you take 7 egg whites and 1.5 cups of sugar, 1.5 cups of graham crackers, 1.5 cups of pecans, and 1.5 cups of flaked coconut, and you put it in a store 9-inch pie plate, and there you have a pie for dessert, and it looks like sawdust. It looks like, it does, it looks a little bit like
but it
sawdust.
Doesn't taste like sawdust.
But it doesn't taste like sawdust. If you would like any of these pies, please, any of these recipes, please send a self-addressed stamp down below to Dalton Community Cable, 151 Park Avenue, Dalton, Mass. 01226. And that's all from our kitchen today. Have a great day.